Now, Barrister Mbeseha, looking at the intricacies here and the fact that not only does this act break certain global and even national laws and conventions, looking at this fact here, where do you think the international community should come in, looking at the situation on ground? Or are there no laws binding La Republique?
Well, of course, there are laws binding La Republique and anybody else. The question is, should the international community not come in? Well, they should have come in long before now. They should have come in long time before now. Because what they have done now with that population is not the first time. They have not arrested those people. No, they have not arrested. They are just taken as hostages. There's a difference between a hostage and an arrest. They have not, those guys they have taken into custody have committed no offense. By their own explanation themselves, the explanation of the colonial officer, he admits we're holding them so that they can help us bring back our lost soldier. That's hostage. Nothing short of that. Hostage taking is against international law. Why are they so concerned with their captured soldier, not adopted? Their captured soldier was a legitimate target. He was a military guy disguising in the community to hurt his opponents, the opponents. Therefore, it's a legitimate target. It could be taken at night, can be taken away in the day, in the night, as long as you can identify him. Our ASAs were right to take him into custody. They are even right to do anything to him because it's a legitimate target. Back to your question, what is the role of the civilian? You see, there's so much mixed up in this story. They have not just taken the population. Among the population they have taken, they include children. But an extra mile, which has not existed elsewhere in the world, is babies. They have taken babies 3 months, 2 months, breastfeeding babies who have been breastfed as part of their hostages. To the best of my knowledge, I don't remember one country that has done that in the world during war. And so they only aggravate their situation by not only taking ordinary hostages, but by taking babies as hostages to get them to satisfy their political or their military needs. And so this is a war crime multiplied by I don't know what figure you can put it there. Should the international community come in, they ought to have come in long ago, I've said. Because again, I've said this is not the first time. 2-3 years ago, they had a certain Moja in Boya, whose role was to go around and adopt pregnant women, take them hostage. Because these women were alleged to have been friends, girlfriends or women friends, to some fighters some years back. They took them hostages, took them to jail, the women get back there. That was hostage taking. Because the idea was that the poor woman will call the former boyfriend, oh, they have taken me hostage, come out. And they didn't do it. And so this has been going on. Cameroon is a lawless country that acts with impunity. But again, there's always a limit to the impunity that you can do. One moment you think that you're so strong, and you do what you think you can do. But there comes a time when the international community will act. And I will say, for example, we have seen the international community, led by South Africa, to act against Israel in the last 1 year because of the Israeli blockade of Gaza. They're not acted before the Israeli conflict existed since 1948. The international community pretended to close its eyes. But there came a time South Africa did not just act. They caused Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, to be indicted for war crimes at the ICC. As we speak, charges are hanging over his head. He can pretend to run east or west. Those charges are hanging on his head. Hanging over his head. And as far as war crimes are concerned, they are there until you die. You cannot say, well, I was the DO yesterday, I'm no longer the DO. Mr. DO, whatever thing you're acting for, in fact, you're the one that the ISIS is looking for. For example, Bankwi, Uhib Bankwi has taken retirement. But all the war crimes Bankwi committed in active service are still hanging on him if he's indicted today. So the DO, you have nowhere to hide. I don't know where you even know what you're doing, but you have nowhere to hide. I'll be surprised that tomorrow, like they always do, they will deny you. They'll say they didn't authorize you to do that. Are you going to answer for it alone? Again, this is the reason why we'll fight. This is the reason why we'll cry out to the world. This is why we'll cry out to the world in different forms, in different manners, taking it back to what we said a few seconds ago, to the Monday ghost towns. To let the world know that something terribly unusual is happening here. To let the whole world know that we don't live in a normal world. There are crises all over the world, but the ones in Mbeseha have taken a different dimension. To the extent that 3-month-old babies, 2-month-old babies can be taken hostage to satisfy the colonial empire, to satisfy the new colonialism, the black on black colonialism. We have not heard white on white colonialism before. We heard black on black, which is taking a different dimension where babies become hostages. Again, there's no impunity for these things. Again, the time is coming, sooner or later, these people will be held accountable. And the crimes that they are committing are imprescriptible. As long as they are alive, those crimes are imprescriptible. They will follow them to their graves. When you enter your grave, you can be excused. And then the judgment can be left at God. But as long as you live on earth here, no matter where you're retired, wherever you're hiding, they will follow you to that end. And so hostage taking is illegal under international law. I don't even know where it is found in Cameroon Penal Code. If it is not even found there, but it must be there. Because I don't know any community, what the international community has not yet adopted. It's something specific to with taking babies as hostages and taking women as hostages, taking mothers, just for belonging to the community, for not helping you catch the man you don't like. And so again, this is horrible, this is unacceptable, it should never happen to human beings. This is only the reason why we fight again. We let the international community know these things. Where is the international community? They are Yaoundé there. It's not something living in the air. If you go to Yaoundé, you're going to see the French embassy there. You're going to see the British embassy there, the American embassy. They represent the international community. And so if they don't see this, or if they see this and pretend to close their eyes, they may, that they've always done. For centuries, for decades, they closed their eyes on what Israel was doing to Palestine. But one day, things came to the eyes open and they said, no, enough is enough. Too much is too much. And so again, then the international community see what is happening to us. When the time came, Moja was abandoned. We don't know where he is. And the duo sitting there will be abandoned. Bankwi is nowhere to be found. Again, hostage taking is a crime. This is not an arrest. They admitted themselves that they took the people hostage with the claim that they will help them go and help them bring their captured military guy. Which captured military guy I've just said was a legitimate target because wearing plain clothes to infiltrate the community in order to get information, in order to hide from your own crimes, it's a war crime by itself. A legitimate target one caught. And so that's what it is. We think that one day, sooner or later, the international community will have. If they don't have, we'll do our best. Like we did in March 16. We'll bring them down where it is possible. We'll wound them if it is possible. We'll do what we can. Because fighting for liberation is fighting for self-survival. Over to you.
Thank you, Barrister Mbeseha. Well, this war of liberation has indeed had its own cost. And for Ambazonians, one of the things away from the daily fear and uncertainty is displacement. People leaving Ambazonia to neighboring countries to feel safe, or even journeying to the far west to feel safe. But sadly, for Ambazonians, La Republic is far from a safe haven.